If you've been experiencing a strong desire for an exciting and new animated series, find yourself pondering existence and the unknowns of nature, or just involuntarily boogie on down when you hear a sick groove, then Dr. Dreams is here to give you a prescription of the latest creation from Joseph Bennett and Steve Healy. Common side effects may include miraculous discoveries, corporate intrigue, government corruption, hillbilly drug dealers, quirky detectives, prison, death, rebirth, and turtle defecation. It's the story of what happens when one of the world's leading experts on mushrooms, Marshall Cuso, makes the discovery of a lifetime, a specimen of fungi known as the Blue Angel, previously only a legend in the field, said to have unbelievable healing abilities. Once he has the Blue Angel, Marshall becomes the target of both government and Big Pharma, setting the stage for a game of cat and mouse as he desperately tries to research his discovery and form a plan on how to best release it to the public before he's found and both himself and the mushroom are destroyed. The stakes start high and only continue to ramp up, giving the show a breakneck pace that emulates the fervor that would realistically occur if such a miracle drug were to exist. We get a wide variety of different perspectives, as all of our characters are after the Blue Angel for different reasons, with some being more cautious of its use than others. Marshall is a badass, intelligent, and extremely likable main character. The moral responsibility he's tasked with as a man who has discovered a cure for many of mankind's worst ailments, including death, is almost unfathomable, yet he remains the character with the best intentions throughout. His altruistic nature is largely what drives the show forward. I mean, it's impossible not to root for a guy who wants to save the world and also do so for free, but his personality is just the icing on the cake. I mean, at the end of the day, he's just a hippie that wants to hang out with his tortoise and give mushrooms to everybody. Conversely, we have the character Frances, who is the assistant to the CEO of a pharmaceutical company. She also happens to be the former lab partner of Marshall from high school and something of an old crush of his. When the two cross paths, she views his discovery as a means to an end, a way to get rich quick and further her career. She does want to help the world, especially after experiencing the potential of the Blue Angel mushroom firsthand. But there's a part of her that wants more for herself and kind of sees the situation as, well, if somebody's going to get rich off of this, why shouldn't it be me? Greed versus charity is a major theme throughout the season, and Francis's that's weird, isn't it? Francis' constant shift between corporate shill and philanthropist is the perfect illustration. Alright, now let's get down to brass tacks and talk about my favorite characters, Detectives Capano and Harrington. They've got the kind of instantly charming camaraderie that you hope for in a buddy cop situation, with dancing on the job being their signature move. These agents are both hilarious and unique. Capano is high energy, cool, and slick, while Harrington's dry delivery makes her actions stick. You wouldn't necessarily expect these two to be the best for this case at first glance, but they quickly establish themselves as capable. Maybe even too capable. They're the good guys that have stumbled into a web of corruption that goes far beyond them, and watching the different ways it pulls them results in the biggest heartbreak of the season. The show is also filled with plenty of memorable side characters, like Marshall's pill-addicted brother, or his crazy former mycologist mentor, or his hillbilly neighbor. Every character is interesting, and they all serve a purpose within the story, even if it seems small at first. The more and more people that know about the Blue Angel mushroom, the more and more pressure there is to grow as much of it as possible and release as much of it as possible before it can be stopped by the powers that be. But the fact of the matter is, the common side effects of using the mushroom are still largely unknown, hence the tongue-in-cheek title of the show. What we do know from this season is that when you consume the mushroom, you're taken to another place, and you interact with what I can only describe as little gray dudes. And I'll leave it at that because the psychedelic sequences in the show are some of the best parts, and really just need to be seen. That being said, I will bring up that this show is made from the same creators of another animated series that I love called Scavenger's Reign, which is filled to the brim with all kinds of beautiful and trippy art that's inspired by nature and wildlife. In fact, the art style is so strong in that show that ended up being one of my criticisms for their follow up. I don't think the style of Common Side Effects is as appealing to me as Scavenger's Reign was, but I will say as the show went on, it started to grow on me more and more. The characters' outrageous proportions, particularly with their large heads, was off putting at first, but having seen the entire season now, I feel like their unique and goofy style really works with the tone that they've established. It's kind of like a dark comedy blend of really serious subject matter told through the lens of an exaggerated cartoon. The fact that I love the story and the characters so far definitely influences my overall opinion of the character design and the look of the show. Just don't expect a visual feast if you're a fan of their previous work. The Blue Angel sequences are friggin' sweet though, dude. Really, the only other minor complaints I have about this show is that the pacing is almost too fast. Now, I would say there's really no fat here. Every scene is justified in both its use and placement. My issue is more that there's not really a lot of time to breathe. Having a bit more time to sit with characters' reactions to extreme emotional circumstances could have benefited the show, I think, in a few different instances. And things like the way that the mushrooms grow and other similar drugs are developed seems fast tracked for the purposes of plot. But the rest of the story is so engaging that those little conveniences just seem like nitpicks. What I really wish there had been more of is more exploration of the realm from which the little gray dudes come from and what exactly their motivations are. Who are they? What do they want? The connection between them, the Blue Angel mushroom, and death is something that I'm really excited to explore more of in season 2. All in all, this is an absolutely stellar first chapter, and I can't wait to refill my prescription. Common Side Effects gets an Amelia Mushrooms. Thank you so much for watching. Yeah, you. I'm talking to you specifically. Thank you.